Hello and welcome to ARMBAR Radio. Tonight, this is your host, Tony the Machine Matuk. We are here. We are live tonight. We are here to talk about Kurt Angle. We're here to talk about WWE Raw, SmackDown, and more. And let me introduce to our colleagues, starting with
Mike the Business,
Jay WrestlePedia,
Isaac the Architect.
and we are ARMBAR Radio.
Hello, ARMBAR fans. Well, we're here. We're finally here. Sorry about last week. We apologize. But this week, we're going to make it up to you guys.
Specifically, apologies to Rock and Roll James. Scheduled to be on the show, but unfortunately, due to prior circumstances with the station, couldn't make it out. So hopefully we can get him on the show sometime. All right.
Indeed, I mean it was disappointing, but at the same time, hey, definitely understand. Things happen, but hey, I'm just glad we're on the air this week on this hot
Definitely.
Thursday
Absolutely.
night.
Yeah, hopefully we can reschedule and we'll get him on one of these days, guys.
Last week was my birthday. I want to tell you guys, ARMBAR fans, thank you for wishing me happy birthday. That means a lot to me, and thank you guys for supporting us, ARMBAR fans. We hit over 200 likes on our Facebook page. Thanks to you guys. Keep passing the word on our station. For wrestling fans out there that need to know some extra knowledge on wrestling, we're here to give you that knowledge. Whether you want to listen to something on Google or you want to listen on YouTube, well, we're here to give you more information like Isaac, Michael, Jay. We're here to share with all that with you guys, and we want to tell you thank you guys for listening to us and supporting us.
All right. Thank you all very much. All right, guys. So let's get into it.
Yeah, well, real quick, Isaac, let me give us a plug. We're actually streaming live on YouTube, so if you guys are subscribed to our channel, go ahead and look us up. We're streaming live from the incubator, and I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what's going on there.
It's the other way.
Hey, look. What's going on this way? This way? Hello?
Perfect.
Mike B. Okay. So, yeah, they had the mic set up a little wrong here, guys. My apologies. But anywho, so we're streaming live on YouTube. So if you guys have YouTube, look us up via KCYP 97.7 ARMBAR, or just look up the hashtag ARMBAR and see if you can find our video streaming live right now. And I'm going to see if I can try to post up the link on our Facebook page, on our Facebook like page, guys. So let's check that out.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Kurt Angle recently had his final match in TNA. So you want to go ahead and discuss that?
Yeah, Kurt Angle, in my opinion, of course, aside from AJ Styles, nobody exemplified the heart spirit of TNA wrestling like Kurt Angle. Such a great career that he had in the last close to 10 years. This coming September it would have been that Kurt Angle had with TNA wrestling. And he had his last match with Impact this past Tuesday night against the equally gamed Bobby Lashley. And it was a tremendous matchup. I was a little surprised by the outcome as well as the heel turn that took place with Lashley. But ultimately, Kurt Angle couldn't have asked for a better way to finish out his career in TNA, especially a lot of the great matches that he had and moments in that organization, and also what he's done for WWE, and also what he did for wrestling in general, winning the gold medal in the 1996 Olympic Games.
Absolutely. He definitely brought a legitimate feel to pro wrestling. Even during the time, it was a bit of a different era. Everybody was, going for the Stone Colds, was going for the Rocks, the edgier guys, and here was white bread, wholesome Kurt Angle, just being goofy or just being serious when need be. But he was definitely one of the biggest innovators in the sport, and also one of the quickest people to pick up the business. So it's really sad to see him retire, but at the same time, I'm really happy because he.
Yeah, share mics with him.
Oh, okay. But sorry about the technical difficulties, but definitely one of the biggest innovators in sport, and I'm sad to see him retire, but at the same time, I'm really happy because that means he can live on a happy, prosperous life.
And of course, some of my favorite memories involving Kurt Angle were not just only in TNA with the matches that he had with Samoa Joe as well as with AJ Styles and Mr. Anderson, but some of my favorites in WWE, like the matches he had in 2003 with Brock Lesnar, even also with The Undertaker, and who can forget WrestleMania 21 with him and Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm. Nobody can forget that match.
Guys, any memories you guys want to share about Kurt Angle?
I sure do. Kurt Angle's matches are so epic. I remembered him facing The Undertaker. It was at No Way Out. I think it was in 2006. Yeah. It was his last, I believe it was one of his last departures with WWE. And that was a very incredible match. I mean, counter after counter, these guys could bring it to the table. He is not only athletic, he can do moonsaults. He can still do the Olympic slam against guys that are 500 pounds like the Big Show. The man was a suplex machine. And you know who he also got mentored also was Taz. Taz looked up to him as well as a wrestling machine. The man had the best cardiovascular. Him facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19 was incredible. The Iron Man match with Brock Lesnar on SmackDown was an epic. Growing up with that era in my teenage years, who can ask for more? The milk truck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the milk
truck was incredible. You know, everybody talks about drink your milk, get strong bones instead of drinking beer. He brings the milk truck to the table. And Kurt Angle, he was, to me, one of the most spiritual wrestlers in the WWE. When he paid respects to the late, great Eddie Guerrero, when he fought against Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, it was so bold of him to actually put Rey Mysterio over at WrestleMania when Rey Mysterio won the world title. So I really give my congratulations to Kurt Angle. I'm really proud of him. I want him to spend time with his family, and one day, meet him sometime, hopefully soon. Mike, your thoughts?
I mean, he's one of the best of his generation, I want to say. I was reading up on his accolades, and this guy did it all in the business. Okay, let me show you guys, or let me tell you guys. Actually, I can't really show you. If you guys watched his career, you would have known. But I mean, let's just look at the list of accolades he had. 2-time NCAA Division I champion. Okay, unheard of, right? FLIA Wrestling World Champion. So he had a gold medal for that. That was in 95, 96 Olympic gold medalist in freestyle wrestling. So the only legitimate wrestler, I guess, with a gold medal to actually go jump from that era and do professional wrestling.
And he wrestled with a broken neck.
Yeah, he did it with a broken neck and a couple of herniated discs, from what I heard. In the WWE, he was a 6-time world champion, 1-time Intercontinental champion, 1-time European champion, 1-time U.S. champion, 1-time tag champion. So he's basically held every single title. He's the 10th triple crown champion, which means that he's held 3 of the major titles in that company, which was the world title, the Intercontinental title, and I think maybe the tag championships at the time, or
and
the
he was
European.
King of the Ring.
Also King of the Ring, yes. So according to that, and then he was the 5th grand champion, which was basically he's held every single major title in WWE. Going from there, TNA, he was a 6-time world champion, which is a record according to his Wikipedia page.
First person to do it, too.
First person to do it.
Yes.
2-time tag champion, 1-time X Division champion, 2nd Triple Crown winner in TNA history. How are we on audio, guys? Are we okay?
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. So he is he's basically held every title in TNA history, obviously. 2nd Triple Crown winner of his era. And also going from there, he was an IWGP champ, also 1-time champ. So he's the only wrestler in history to have won the WWE Championship, the WCW, the TNA, and the IWGP Championships, all combined, guys. Also, he was a 1-time King of the Ring winner and 2-time King of the Mountain winner. So like mentioned Tony, or like Tony mentioned, blah blah blah. Tongue twisters.
And also a 2013 member of the TNA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I have it right there. It's on the script.
Also the leader of Main Event Mafia back in TNA.
As well as Team Angle.
Team Angle.
WWE.
Yes.
The guy did it all in the business, so we want to give our hats off and just pay great respect to a guy that basically did it in not one but two and several
companies,
several outlets. I mean, the guy. I mean, this is coming from a guy who had he had a lot of charisma, but going into the WWE, he didn't really have the charisma as a lot of other guys did. And for him to build off, and get trained, etc. It's just amazing to see what he's done.
Not just that, but he was also one of the first guys to actually put TNA on the map.
Oh,
you had guys like Hardy, you had guys like AJ Styles,
Samoa Joe, but
Kurt Angle was one of the first people to actually legitimize the organization, and he basically made that company.
Jay, say.
And you're right. I mean, I remember I was watching No Surrender back in 2006 when it happened. I mean, there was the big surprise that was promised by TNA management, And at that point, Kurt Angle had just left WWE, but he had left on maybe not so ideal terms. And I thought, I thought he would be done with wrestling. But when he showed up in TNA, which nobody knew about, I was just like, wow. It was one of those moments like, where were you when it happened? And in my opinion, as you mentioned earlier, as did I earlier, Kurt Angle in many ways was the face of TNA wrestling, and it's gonna be very hard for TNA to really fill that void that Kurt Angle left behind. But he in many ways helped TNA legitimize the company. Pretty much what Terry Funk was to ECW, I would say Kurt Angle was to TNA.
Absolutely.
Going back to Kurt Angle, that ankle lock that he places on his opponents. The Wolves, one of them used the ankle lock, and I was so happy that Kurt Angle. He's so humble. He was talking about passing the torch. He says, Ken Shamrock was the creator of the ankle lock. He passed it down to me, and now I'm gonna pass it down to you. And the Wolves were so grateful for what Kurt Angle had to say about that. And he said, look, guys, if you need help and you need more technique on the ankle lock, I could teach you more techniques about it. And that's what I liked about Kurt Angle. He was not, selfish. He knew how to teach people knowledge about the business, especially on techniques and the moves. No one could do an ankle lock like Kurt Angle. The man can even do a leg grapevine and an ankle lock all in one, and that's very rare because Ken Shamrock, I don't think, did that many leg grapevines on an ankle lock. And even Jack Swagger, have you noticed they never locked their legs? Kurt Angle was the only one that could even put that lock and make it money. And I mean, most of these guys, when they get put on the ankle lock, they either do a counter. No one could sell it like Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess we should move forward. Another big shout out to Kurt Angle and his career, his illustrious career. Does anyone remember the three I's before we move on? Jay?
Intensity, intelligence, and integrity.
All right. Now let's move on to Jay's Corner. This is what I like to call Jay's segment, Jay's Corner. Mr. WrestlePedia over here. Mr. WrestlePedia. But anyway, go ahead and we can go off into the indie stuff, Jay.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. And, of course, also in my corner will be, of course, Isaac, who will also be helping out with the indie scene, but also Michael and Tony, who also quite savvy when it comes to the indie scene and the international scene. When it comes down to it, of course, we got a lot of news, of course, with TNA Wrestling, not only with Kurt Angle retiring, but also the sudden departure of Mr. Anderson, which we heard about today, which I was shocked by, especially after he was there for 6 years. But after the way I heard about it, I was just like...
Yeah, you don't want to touch that with a 20-foot pole. He went on to ICW, cut like a brutal promo, criticizing TNA. It's just like, it didn't let me do this. I was held back by this company, and, I could have been the star, all this. And it just seemed very kind of pitiful.
Yeah.
Because it's his own fault. He got released, and I don't know. I think this could be possibly the end of Mr. Anderson's wrestling career.
Well, it's not been the first time because he did the same thing with WWE. He was bad-mouthing the WWE when he was on TNA in a recording. Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember that. He was actually mocking Triple H on his creativity as a performer. And then he came to TNA and he's talking about his gimmick. Now he's doing the same thing again with another promotion. And why do you think he complains why he can't find a good company or nobody wants to accept him? Because you can't do that. You can't. If you're a wrestler, you got to keep it professional, guys. That's why you guys are called professional wrestlers. You don't badmouth your promotion. You're trying to make a name for yourself. It's like you're badmouthing your place where you work.
He's gonna end
up
and people
are going to hear it.
He's going to end up like Jim Cornette, where, just burn bridges with every single promotion you can.
Exactly. How are you going to get promoted to become a Hall of Famer one day if you keep doing that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, too, because he's a great talent.
Yes.
And I thought he had a great gimmick with being the loudmouth wrestler with the old school Madison Square Garden microphone. But
am I the only one that thinks, like, he's kind of similar to the modern era Jeff Jarrett?
No, not even
really.
close. I don't
To
think
be
so.
honest with you,
No.
I don't know, because the thing is, like, I don't know, I see a lot of similarities, maybe not in wrestling, but maybe a lot of personality, like, loudmouth guy always tries to get over. I never really saw him as that over with the crowd, though. At least that's just my opinion.
I mean, he tried to be a little bit like the man that he idolized, Stone Cold Steve Austin, but in the end, it just didn't work out for Mr. Anderson. But at the same time, though, it's a great talent. We wish him well and hope that he does land back in whatever he does or wherever wrestling company he goes to. And, of course, also on the topic of TNA, true dream match come true that happened this past Tuesday with Beer Money becoming the new World Tag Team Champs, defeating the Wolves, in which that was a match 6 years earlier we would have thought would have never happened. Beer Money, was ruling the tag team division in TNA. The Wolves, then at that time as the American Wolves, ruling Ring of Honor's tag team division. And to see that happen, especially in England, where TNA gets their best draws, I thought, man, that's awesome. And congrats to Beer Money becoming the new 6-time TNA World Tag Team Champions. And definitely, we also want to wish Davey Richards a speedy recovery. He injured his leg in that matchup. He's going to be gone for quite some time, but we'll hope to see him back soon, of course.
Absolutely.
We did a this past Friday at a party at my house, and Javi and I did a Beer Money tribute on our birthday. We had some Budweiser and some cash. So it was.
I saw the pics. That was
awesome.
great. I liked it. It was real nice.
Yeah,
Tony,
nice.
it was a nice little party that we had a little get together. Tony reminiscing about being a kid and everything like that.
Oh man, those are good old
Some
days,
good
guys.
times.
80s and 90s, I think were the best years of my life growing up. How about you, Jay and Mike?
I would say the same thing, not just for wrestling in the 80s and 90s, but television, music in general, man. That to me was the best eras when it comes to, not just wrestling, but music and television was just the 80s and 90s. I mean, nothing against today, but I don't know,
It's just not the same.
Yeah, that's
The way
that's
people put things together, the editing and the graphics and everything are great, but what everything behind it is just trash, in my opinion.
There's no more values today.
Yeah.
No more Rugrats.
values.
I mean, 20 years ago, MTV was music television. What's on MTV today?
16 and pregnant.
You tell me. Not even VH1 has music. Yeah.
I'm just, the millennial here that actually appreciates all of today's stuff.
The guy born in 94, 95?
94.
Oh, gosh, yeah. He was in diapers when, the Attitude Era was barely setting off and
we were,
getting
8 years of
crazy.
age, Mike? We were 8.
We were in
1994.
94 we were 8.
Yeah, we were 8. And what,
I was
man,
10.
those were the best matches. There was Yokozuna involved.
Bret Hart,
Owen Hart.
Shawn Michaels, good times.
It was WrestleMania 10 in 94, right? With Bret Hart
so.
versus Owen Hart.
All right, guys, so moving on here. So any news from Ring of Honor?
From Ring of Honor in the next couple of weeks on Ring of Honor Television, which you can either see on your local CBS affiliate or on Comet Television if you have the Comet station on your cable or satellite provider. There will be, of course, battles between Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling, which will ultimately lead to the Sunday night, May 8th pay-per-view Global Wars, which will involve both Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Pretty much similar to the 14th anniversary show, but a little bit more ROH versus New Japan orientated. But the 14th anniversary show was a great pay-per-view. The match that stood out was the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega taking on Kushida, ACH, and Reborn Matt Sydal, which was the standout match of the night. And hope to see more out of the cleaner Kenny Omega on Ring of Honor Television, hopefully as soon as things clear up between Omega and ROH.
Not just that, but I'm really glad to see Matt Sydal. He's just made such a resurgence before when he was Evan Bourne.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed like he just was, stuck there. He was just another high flyer, but he's just made such a reinvention of his career. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to an even bigger paycheck in WWE.
Matter of fact, Sydal and Ricochet, they are the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, defeating the Young Bucks recently in New Japan Pro Wrestling for those titles. And he's, as you're right, Matt Sydal. And then, of course, a couple of weeks ago, defeating Adam Cole, perhaps Ring of Honor's best heel.
Yeah.
I would say one of the best heels, him and Jay Lethal. And with him getting that clean victory, it's like you can tell ROH is going to do more in the future with Matt Sydal. And even also the same, I would say, out of characters like Dalton Castle, who... I mean, at first, I didn't take him seriously, but the more I've seen out of Dalton Castle, the more I think he could be one of the next breakout stars in Ring of Honor, especially with his feud with Silas Young, in which they're going to soon be battling in the Fight Without Honor match, which I'm sure you'll be able to explain, Isaac.
The Fight Without Honor match is basically their version of kind of like a street fight or no DQ.
Pretty much, there's going to be no code of honor, no shaking hands.
No shaking hands, nothing. It's just basically free for all. It's basically just, it's kind of like the unsanctioned match of Ring of Honor in a sense.
Yeah. The most brutal one that I can recall that I'd seen in recent memory, Fight Without Honor-wise, was Jay Briscoe and Adam Cole at Final Battle in 2014 for the championship, where Cole took some thumbtacks, placed them in Briscoe's mouth, and super kicked him.
Oh, man.
Which, that, I'm guessing, did not have a very good taste for Jay Briscoe, but that was hardcore.
I don't believe Generico and Steen ever had a Fight Without Honor match, did they?
They did.
They did. Because I know most people remember the Ladder War series.
Yeah, the Ladder War, which was Generico's final ROH match. That one was brutal. What I remember was the night Steen did the package pile driver off of one ladder onto another one, crumbled in, and, well, pretty much took Generico out of Ring of Honor wrestling.
So, yeah, Ring of Honor is definitely capable of doing some really good hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, I would definitely check out this upcoming pay-per-view, Global Wars.
Yeah, Sunday night, May the 8th on pay-per-view. And, of course, also some love we want to give to our local wrestling company,
NWA Wrestling Revolution.
NWA Wrestling Revolution. Every Friday night at the historic Cena El Rey. Tickets are only $8 for an adult, $5 for children. Come check it out. Come check out some of the great wrestling talent, like Jim Justice, like Shooter Roberts, excuse me, as well as also Bandana Joe, Richard Reason, Smokin' Jay Williams. Matter of fact, Smokin' Jay Williams will also be wrestling at an upcoming show at the Far West on Friday night, March 25th. Tickets are for $20, in that show, what makes it special, aside from the fact that he'll be wrestling on the show, you'll have talent from both AAA and from Lucha Underground competing on that show, which definitely look forward to.
I'm incredibly excited for that.
Exactly.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move into the Raw recap. Mike, let's go ahead and start it off.
Ooh, the Raw recap. Let me bring up the script here really quick, guys.
Hey, man. We don't have a script. You gotta keep kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
All right, so basically Raw starts out. I don't even know if I want to talk about the McMahon intro because I feel like
it's too redundant.
It's too redundant.
Yeah,
it's whatever. So I'm going to skip that for today. Let's go ahead and go straight to KO versus what's his face? Neville, yeah. I said what's his face. I was like Neville versus what's his face. Sorry, I was getting a text from our program director here. Actually, we got about 5 minutes to call those beautiful letters, guys. But KO versus Neville, which isn't a match that we haven't really seen in a while, not since the NXT days, right?
No.
But I liked it. I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, it really shows the brutality and intensity of Kevin Owens, especially with guys like Neville, the high flyers. But
yeah,
I'm really glad we got to see a match like that. And aside from the match, let's talk about something else that happened in there.
Oh, definitely.
The debut of Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited when he came back, guys.
I'm incredibly excited because it's been how long since he's been injured?
9 months.
Pretty much since May of last year. Yeah. And he returned to NXT television in December during NXT's tour of England, where he took on Ty Dillinger as part of an NXT, the pre-tape to the NXT TakeOver London. But we mentioned Generico and Steen earlier, of course. That's been quite the war, or that was quite the war in Ring of Honor, I should
Definitely.
say. And now it's being brought to the big stage in WWE with Zayn versus Owens, which I hope it's between those two one-on-one for the Intercontinental Championship. Most likely it'll be a multi-man match, knowing WWE.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to incorporate another 6-man match for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully a ladder match so, we can see the type of variations and stuff from the indie stars. Like, my dream card for that would probably be, if it had to be a 6-man ladder match for the IC title, it would probably be Neville, Steen, Neville, Owens, Zayn, maybe Ziggler in that.
Yeah.
And Kalisto and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like this match has a lot of potential, but I feel that if you're gonna do this feud, especially this soon, I would say have it wait a while. Like have it steep up, have it brew while Sami Zayn fights other people, and then hopefully next year it can culminate at Mania with Owens versus Zayn.
Yeah. And Zayn, of course, does have a pretty cool theme song, I will say.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I thought it was pretty good match. Moving on.
Okay, before we move on to calling those beautiful letters, let's just talk about Ziggler's backstage incident with Stephanie McMahon. And we all, I guess, it's been done before. I mean, Ziggler against the Authority. He's talking about what happened at Survivor Series a couple years ago, saying how he single-handedly beat the Authority in their team, which he did. And I mean,
Help with Sting.
it's probably the last great thing that he did. I mean, in the ring, in my opinion. Unfortunately, I mean, he hasn't had a series of great matches up until, now, I guess. I wouldn't say, like Jay's mentioned these past couple weeks, that, they just haven't been promoting him very well against anyone. I mean, and I don't know what's going on with that, and maybe it's because of his social media rants and being a little more out there when it comes to him not getting the work. I don't know, Tony, your thoughts on that?
Well, he was mentioned on the segment. He's like, okay, they tell me I'm great. They tell me I'm awesome, but there's no use for me. He says, I feel like I'm getting put on the shelf. And he says, I can steal the show like anybody else, but they just tell me one thing and then they tell me another. They contradict themselves all the time. And he said, he's getting tired of it. I mean, can you blame Dolph Ziggler? I mean, he was actually this close to, going to TNA because of the stuff they were doing. But all of a sudden, Triple H and Stephanie were like, okay, let me just renew your contract. We'll just give you more money. But he wanted to leave for better terms and make me make a bigger impact on TNA. But he got something promised that he couldn't get.
I feel he's one of the guys that could benefit the most from leaving WWE for a while and going to Japan, because he could make a much bigger impact. And, okay, hold on. Before we continue here, we have to call those beautiful letters.
KCYP LP 97.7 FM, Mission McAllen.
Okay, so I have to say this. I feel Ziggler's one of the big guys that could definitely bring about, a lot of good change if he just took a break from WWE and wrestled internationally, wrestled in the Indies. Because I was listening to Stone Cold podcast this week, and he brought up a very interesting point that guys like Owens, guys like Sami Zayn, like Finn Balor, like Kenta, they've had chances to be top drawing guys because of their independent experience. Because, let's face it, Dolph Ziggler, he's never been the top guy in the company. He's never had the chance. He's a product of the WWE system, and he's never actually been the chance to, or had the chance to be the guy that has to draw money. Guys like Owens and Zayn, whenever Kevin Steen and Generico, I keep wanting to call him Zayn, Steen and Generico, but they've been out there, like guys like Daniel Bryan.
Brian Daniels.
I don't know what's going on.
Chuck Palumbo was one of them.
I don't know what's up with me today, but yeah, like they're guys that their promotions and federations basically depended on them to make the money and get the word out there. With Dolph Ziggler being a product of the WWE system, he's always been a guy that the guys feud with, the guys that he's the heel, they're facing for the title, but he's never been the guy that if he's not there, they're gonna start to lose money.
Well, I mean, they really didn't make much of a big deal when he won the title.
No, not at all.
His title reigns were not that epic. When he cashed it in at Money in the Bank, after Money in the Bank, he cashed it in on Monday Night Raw. I think it was after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
or even at
they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Or even after Survivor Series, what happened to him there? He won the whole thing, and then
they don't give him the credit for it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Ziggler, as Michael said this past Monday, could be our generation's Shawn Michaels, but yet it's like, in 2015 alone, he was put in dead-end storyline after dead-end storyline, whether it been Rusev, Tyler Breeze, when this guy should be fighting for the Intercontinental Championship, or even better yet, facing off for the WWE Championship. I mean, most people would rather, and I say this with all respect to Roman Reigns and his fans, not everyone's a big Roman Reigns fan, and if Reigns...
no, there's...
go ahead. I mean, but at the same time,
yeah. I'm pretty sure the ARMBAR universe knows my feelings on Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I mean, if Roman Reigns was going to be, like, say at, I don't know, at the mall signing autographs, we know we won't see you there, Isaac. But I say that with all respect, of course. But at the same time, though, some people feel Dolph Ziggler, who just like Reigns was a product of the WWE system, Ziggler is just a little bit more advanced, and if he won the title, to them, it would mean more to the fans than it would be if, say, Reigns won. As far as Reigns winning the championship's concerned at WrestleMania, but I could be wrong on that.
But it isn't to say that, it's all WWE's fault, because here's the thing. Ziggler's had this gimmick for what, over 10 years now? Almost 10 years?
He's pretty much gone from, initially, pretty boy to now rock and roll guy with the Motley Crue.
Yeah, but okay, but what's his gimmick?
Show stealing.
But what
he's
where's
trying to be like Shawn Michaels.
I
He
know.
also looks like a mini Billy Gunn.
Okay, I know this,
as
but
well.
what's he trying to be? Is he trying to be Shawn Michaels? Is he trying to be Billy Gunn? What's he
Maybe
trying
he's
to
just
be?
trying to be Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that's the thing. But there's nothing that entices me to his character. There's nothing that, shows that, he has a character outside of, okay, I'm going to do a lot of crazy bumps and I'm going to, pour this crazy offense and come back. But, there's,
I know what you're saying. I mean, he doesn't know what he is. He's doing moves like he's doing super kicks. He's doing the rocker dropper. And he used to do when he first started?
the headstand, like he used
He used to do the headstand. Not only that, he used to do this reverse inverted power slam. He'd come from behind and he would do a reverse scoop slam.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that anymore. And he should be creative. I know that Shawn Michaels and Billy Gunn were probably one of his mentors he looked up to, but Dolph Ziggler needs to be Dolph Ziggler. When he first started with WWE, okay, yes, he was one of the Spirit Squad. Then he says, I'm Dolph Ziggler. He kept introducing himself to Dolph Ziggler. Maybe he needs to revamp his character again and redo that, because that generation probably missed that part when he was, telling himself, "Oh, I'm Dolph Ziggler the whole time." And I like his romance stories; they're great. Maybe he needs to be a heel
The thing is, he's been a heel how many times now?
once.
For most of his career though. That's the thing.
Most of his career, he's been a face. I think already for
about
2
2
years, and maybe he needs to go back to being a heel.
And I feel like the biggest issue is though that he doesn't know what to do. Like he's just been kind of floundering around in the mid card for a while, and WWE doesn't trust him because he's had a concussion, which isn't his fault. Obviously, they should give him another shot. But the thing is, I feel like going out there, going a few years, getting a few years of experience in the Indies, not just that, but seeing what it's like to be the guy that people depend on to like draw money. And then he can start working with the crowd on that way. Like he's doing the same moves out there, shaking his butt. I don't know what he does with that. I guess it's supposed to get the crowd riled up.
Reminds me of like Val Venus. He does too.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit his gimmick, in my opinion. So I think what he needs to start doing is that he needs to start seeing what moves work out there, what moves don't work, see what responds with the crowd, and then build off of that.
I mean, look what Drew Galloway's doing right now. I mean, yeah, WWE dropped the ball on what was then Drew McIntyre, but since then he has not only had great success since coming to TNA, being one of their top baby faces, and in my opinion could be the next TNA World Champion down the line, but also having great success in the indie scene, both here in the United States with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, but also in the UK with Insane Championship Wrestling. So he's had quite a resurgence. I mean, Dolph could probably benefit from that if he was to leave WWE, maybe not TNA, but maybe Ring of Honor. I could definitely see that. I mean, I'd like to see him and Jay Lethal go at it for the championship.
Absolutely.
Or perhaps him and, Kyle O'Reilly from Red Dragon. But yeah, with Dolph, it's been, start, pause. I mean, it's terrible because he could be our Shawn Michaels, but WWE just doesn't want to let it go. But yet, as far as turning him heel, the best way I can think of that, Christian said it best. Let the fans choose who they want to cheer for. Let them choose who they want to boo. And right now, I don't hear too many people booing Ziggler, to be honest with you.
No.
And the same thing when people talk about, we should turn Dean Ambrose heel. I'm like, for what?
Why? Like
They love him.
I think the biggest issue is that they just want to see these things happen just for the short term.
Yeah, and it's not going to work out. I could see them turning Reigns heel if it happened.
Maybe like a corporate, like an authority champion, like the corporate champion 2.0.
Yeah, but how many times have we seen that? We need a great babyface champion that the people can be behind.
My ideas on this one, especially the authority, I'm thinking it's going to happen. Seth Rollins is going to come back, and
In May.
Yeah. And Triple H, what if he still the champion by then? And he's like, "Hey, Hunter, looks like I'm back. Hey, I guess you could just hand me the title."
I think,
And then all of a sudden he might turn face, and then who knows? Reigns could be the authorities champion, and
I think
Bad
the
Blood
biggest problem with
starts.
WWE is that they focus way too much on short term, or rather for instant gratification. This can be seen back to when Orton was World Heavyweight Champion while he was still with Evolution. When Austin turned heel, they have this just case to just do everything just for the quick buck, just for the instant gratification. So that could be seen as a problem because they could have built up all these great storylines. They could have built up all these great things. Like, even when Orton was in Evolution, he could have stayed in while he was champion, let it build up until the point where, he was going to get, he went out on his own terms, kind of like what Batista did.
Yeah.
But no, they just decided to excommunicate him from Evolution the same night. And then he lost the title, a month later?
Yeah. And it was back around Triple H's waist.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. I mean, it's just, I don't know what WWE's creative booking decisions, I don't know what goes on in those meetings, I'm not there, but it's just, as you mentioned, just all short-term booking instead of, hey, let's do something long-term, like that'll ultimately create revenue, Another classic example, when they brought Batista back.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Batista versus Orton at WrestleMania 30 would have been good if this was WrestleMania 25, maybe even 22.
It was funny because when I was watching WrestleMania with my roommate, he made this interesting comment, WrestleMania 30, when I told him, Batista and Randy Orton. He's like, man, those are the same guys I was watching when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
what does that say?
To me, the main event should have been CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan for the title, because they were the two biggest baby faces outside of John Cena, because by that point, let's face it, people were already tired of Cena, if not even long before. I could be wrong, but, hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But Punk versus Bryan should have been what headlined in New Orleans that night at WrestleMania 30, and we didn't get that.
The biggest problem is that they don't sell T-shirts. They do, but not as much as, Cena does to kids.
Yeah, and to us hardcore fans, that's what, I guess Vince doesn't appeal to.
Yeah, as sad as it is, we're kind of the minority.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, before we get sidetracked
Again.
a little more, because we can drag that on forever. Let's go on to the next. Talk about Hall of Fame real quick. We'll finish that. We'll finish that off about towards the end. But let's continue on. I'm gonna skip that the Divas match just because it was Becky Lynch versus not Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, but Brie versus Summer Rae. That's not really a match I care to talk about. So let's go to Dean Ambrose's promo with Triple H, guys, really quick, okay? And his lead up to Roadblock this Saturday.
So
what do you think?
they're basically using Dean Ambrose as Roman Reigns' talking piece. Roman Reigns is out with an injury for a nose surgery.
Broken nose.
Apparently, I don't know. But they're basically avoiding him because here's the thing. They're going to Philadelphia. They went to Chicago. They know he's going to get booed there. They know he's going to get booed if he even shows up there. And honestly, I feel like that's doing Reigns more harm than it is doing him good. Because the thing is, they don't give him the chance to speak. They don't give him the chance to defend himself, to go out there and actually be the intimidating guy he can be. Because I honestly feel he should be one of those silent guys that is like, okay, I'm just going to go in, spear you, and get out. I feel he should be one of the man of few words. But no, they have him go out there with a suffering succotash and, that weird face that he always does. And it's not working. He's like Rocky Maivia 2.0 here. They're trying so hard. Maivia. He's like our generation's kind of like Diesel. Our generation's like Lex Luger. They're trying so hard to push him down our throats. They're trying so hard to get him over, and it's starting to work against him. Because the thing is, they're trying to do everything they can, try to make him appeal to everybody, and he's just appealing to nobody right now. People are saying they want Cena reactions. He's getting no reaction.
It's kind of like, when John Cena was at one point the top guy on SmackDown, or the top babyface when he was doing the rapper gimmick.
Yeah.
People are like, oh man, we want him to come to Raw, man. This is going to be awesome if he comes. And then when he does, within 6 months after he was on Monday Night Raw, fans were already like, yeah, we're tired of John Cena already. And to this day, people still boo John Cena. One of my friends, X-Man, he will never let me hear the end of it when it comes to John Cena. And when it comes to Roman Reigns, people are like, man, I can't wait for the Shield to break up and Reigns is going to be the top guy. They get that. And, well, we all saw the 2015 Royal Rumble and how that played out.
Yeah. Even worse, that, Fastlane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, horrible.
We talk about Fastlane when he faced Daniel Bryan last year?
I mean, both.
Yeah.
Both have been just complete catastrophes as far as Roman Reigns goes.
And imagine his reaction at the AT&T Stadium at WrestleMania when he challenges Triple H for the title. Should, of course, Triple H beat Dean Ambrose Saturday night.
If anything, I'm hoping for maybe like a triple threat match between Hunter, Triple H, and Roman Reigns. Because the thing is, Vince is smart. He knows he doesn't want to lose money. But how many times can he buckle down and just give in to what the fans want? Because I feel like he's just kind of sticking it to us at this point that, no, Roman Reigns is our guy and we're going to use him. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a WCW type of thing where if he wins the title, Trash is just going to start filling up the ring.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened too. I mean, especially with, look back to the 2014 Royal Rumble with Batista. The comments Mick Foley made the day after, where he literally wanted to throw a brick to his television, even asking, does WWE even hate their fan base? I mean, at that point in time, I just felt Vince wasn't listening to the crowd, and to this day, it kind of is almost the same. I mean, unless you guys feel differently, of course. Tony?
I actually do. I feel like Vince doesn't listen to us. I mean, what kind of match? Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. I mean, to me, I don't agree with it.
It's like something I would come up in WWE 2K.
It's just ridiculous. Okay, all of a sudden he comes back after, 7 years? He hasn't been with the company, Shane McMahon. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to face The Undertaker? I mean, that's not a great... That's not a great career match for Undertaker, especially he's faced Vince McMahon before Undertaker. It was like before WrestleMania. I think it was around. I think it was Survivor Series. It was 2003 when Kane buried him. And see, I don't like this. I mean, what kind of garbage is that? Oh, McMahon's like doing the re-gimmick. Oh, you're not my son anymore, Shane O'Mac. He's done this so many times.
The invasion angle.
The invasion angle. Yeah. Its repertoire is getting to be overrated. And see, he doesn't care what the fans want. Obviously, he talks about anti-bullying campaign. He talks about all this, but he doesn't even live up to his own bargain. And
that's Jim Ross.
Jim Ross. And not only that, and you can wonder why he makes these bad investments by saying, okay, Undertaker, I want to see how the fans are going to react when you lose to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30. That day that happened, he lost $750 million. And then you know what happened as well? He told some of the great wrestlers, oh, you need to do a pay cut. He tells that to Mark Henry. Mark Henry said, okay, I'll be more than happy to take a pay cut. He had to let go a bunch of wrestlers, and that just really ruined their careers. And you remember, you've seen them, yeah. So if he doesn't want to listen to fans, history is going to repeat itself again. If he doesn't listen to fans, he's going to lose money, his stock's going to go down, and wrestlers are going to lose their jobs and lose their career. And Ziggler's going to be so upset, he's probably going to go to another promotion.
Mike?
He should.
Yeah. Your thoughts on this whole?
I mean, the whole Vince and Shane angle is... I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's been overplayed. And I like the fact that Shane's back. I think it's going to...
I appreciate it.
I mean, I appreciate it. And, I mean, that's one of the biggest fan crowd reactions that I've seen in a long time.
They should do that a day after WrestleMania.
You can tell they're trying so hard to get, eyes on WrestleMania, to get attendance, to get money, because, oh, look, guys, Shane O'Mac's back. And again, it's that whole instant gratification thing that instead of, playing out the long con, like Tony said, day after WrestleMania, Shane comes back, they're the authorities celebrating, wow, we won this, we have all this. Shane O'Mac should have come back that night and challenged for the company, and they could make this a 6-month-long, year-long storyline that they could make so much bank off of. But
in like 4 weeks, though.
Yeah, they're trying to get this instant gratification that's not there.
I still, when Michael texted us about, it's going to be Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker.
We thought he was joking.
Yeah.
I called it, guys, just so you know.
People
that are listening.
I thought it was a joke, and it's like, well, the joke was on us, because now, thankfully, we're only seeing it for $9.99.
I jinxed it, guys. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Going back to, I was looking at these news bases on the our ARMBAR page, and, they were, talking about, fans want, WWE wants, KO wanted to face The Undertaker.
That would have been a great match.
Or even Owens and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started. That would have been a dream match for me.
Whether it was a mid-card title or not, that could have happened. See, WWE doesn't listen to their fans.
No.
They don't.
I mean, they truly don't. And what's sad is how TNA gives the fans what they want, but the problem is TNA's wrestling, and TNA is in...
They're peanuts.
Unless they're in the United Kingdom for TV tapings of Impact, they're wrestling in front of 300 to 400 people. The only time they ever fill up a house these days is when they're at Universal Studios. Ring of Honor has great wrestling talent, but the problem is Ring of Honor's, unless a former WWE superstar goes to the company, some people will pay attention to Ring of Honor for a while, and then,
let's go back to WWE.
Or, they'll say, oh, I'm such a big fan of Ring of Honor, but they'll only tell it when, one of the big names from over there comes to WWE.
Yeah, like when Matt Hardy was there a couple of years ago, or recently Alberto El Patron, Alberto Del Rio, and that's what's sad because they give the fans what they want, but yet they don't have, Ring of Honor's never going to be in front of a, I could be wrong.
People.
I could be wrong. It could hopefully change later on.
The thing is, this has been an issue ever since WCW went out of business. There's no incentive. There's no competition anymore.
Yeah. Unless New Japan Pro Wrestling, look what New Japan's doing.
As much as I love, NXT, you have to admit it's kind of bad for business because it's killing off the indie competition.
Yeah. NXT, at the end of the day, is still owned by WWE. And at the end of the day, you're right, they're killing off the indie competition. But, at the same token, these days NXT is something that we'd rather watch than what goes on Monday Night.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so next match. Sorry about another tangent.
It's all right. Okay, so sorry to the ladies that are listening. I'm going to skip another Divas match. It was a tag team match. It was Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks.
Let's go to main event.
Versus Team Bad, but winners and losers. Sasha Banks and Lynch get the win on that. So our next match after that, Y2AJ. Everyone's favorite tag team.
Everybody saw this coming.
This is the New Day.
They're trying to... So
baby voices, guys.
We need to get a trombone in here, but no. I thought it was super obvious coming. But what really surprised me, I was expecting a dusty finish, but no. The New Day beat Y2AG clean.
Yeah, really clean.
That was what really surprised me.
And it was a good match. It's not like it was a bad match. I really like that match.
I saw that AJ finally hit the full flip, the full flip into the, what was it called?
The forward flip?
The flying forearm?
Yeah, no. When he did the backflip into the Russian
to inverted DDT.
Yeah,
inverted DDT.
Yeah, he finally hit the full thing on Kofi, and it made me so happy because wow, I never thought I would see that in WWE.
I know he used to do that in TNA.
He used to do it in Ring of Honor
and in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
But yeah, I'm so happy to see the New Day finally getting its due credit. They're not just a coward team; they can back it up, and I feel that if anything, Big E is going to be the breakout star because I have the feeling he has to make this to be a future WWE champion.
It could still happen for Big E. He's still very young. I think he's 29 years of age.
No, he's our age.
Oh, 30? Oh, okay.
He's 30. He just turned 30 March 1st.
Oh wow,
yeah. Still very young
and just strong as strong can get. So. And he's got a lot of charisma, too. So Big E, he's a former NXT champion, the second one to ever hold that championship.
And an IC champion.
A former powerlifting champion.
I feel, if anything, the New Day has helped Big E on the mic a lot because when he was Intercontinental champion, it was kind of a forgettable run.
Yeah.
Nobody really cared. He was, how long, 6 months?
I want to say
4 to 5, I think, right?
He won the title November of 2013.
He beat Curtis
Axel. But lost it in April to King Barrett.
And then he tried to do some type of preacher gimmick, and obviously that wasn't getting him anywhere. So I feel like the New Day has really brought out his charisma, and he's become a lot more natural on the mic.
Yeah.
And that makes me really happy because I've been a huge fan of Big E ever since his NXT days, but I feel like something was missing. And now with the New Day, he finally has the it factor.
Just don't you dare be sour.
As far as for Y2AJ, I mean, is anybody really excited for Y2J versus AJ3?
I didn't care at all.
So I didn't care for it. I had no use
for the tag team. For the match,
I bet you the shirts are going to be on clearance now.
Yeah, it was
$5 on the WWE.com website, guys.
I was going to buy one.
It's 2-1 now with
That'd be a
AJ.
good gag gift for Christmas.
Unless Y2J is leaving wrestling after this match, and AJ's going to put him over. There's no reason for this match to happen.
It's already happened now 3 times.
I would rather see, AJ versus KO at Mania for the IC title.
Or Styles and Kalisto for the US title.
Absolutely. I feel they could put on a great match.
My prediction, though, as I mentioned a few weeks ago with you guys, it would not surprise me if AJ Styles, by the time SummerSlam rolls around, is wrestling for the World Championship.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be a top guy within a year.
Yeah, and most deserved. And I would say even the same for, of course, coming up at NXT TakeOver Dallas, coming up on April 1st, is Finn Balor and Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship. To me, whoever walks out champion, or whoever actually doesn't walk out champion, I would not be surprised if as soon as the night after WrestleMania
they debut.
Yeah, and it would be great for either one because Balor has been a huge star in Japan and now in NXT. Samoa Joe all over the U.S. and with TNA and in Ring of Honor.
Now, just quick dirt sheet roundup here. Supposedly that night after WrestleMania, if Balor drops the title to Samoa Joe, he's going to debut with Anderson and Gallows Was
Bullet
stable.
Club.
No, they're actually going to be called Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Wow.
Copyright
Ex
reasons.
Bullet Club members. No, I think that's a really clever name too, because
Yeah.
you know,
It's a good name.
I can
And-
see that as a good babyface faction against the Authority.
You know, even have AJ Styles join it.
Or Neville, somebody.
That, I mean, well, then again, Styles. Well, it was originally Balor, Gallows, and Anderson.
Yeah, and then Styles excommunicate. Oh man, that would be a great feud, especially for a heel Balor.
Yeah,
Oh.
but then again, Balor's another guy I cannot see fans booing because he's that talented in the ring and he's got such an awesome gimmick. Pretty much
But,
like
you
the
know-
new age Jeff Hardy with
Yeah.
the face paint or the body paint.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this became like a really huge, you know, face stable, or like, you know, even like a heel like NWO type stable, like of ex Bullet Club member, call them Bulletproof, have them bring about, you know, we've been working our butts off for years now on the independent scene just to get our shot. You know, we never had this opportunity, and now we're gonna take it. You know, it writes itself.
It would be like, if you think about it, way better than when in 2010 when Nexus debuted.
Oh, absolutely.
And they destroyed the top face at the time, John Cena.
And-
But what killed Nexus is when they excommunicated Daniel Bryan because he was the star of Nexus, in my opinion, before it really got off the ground.
And not just that, but I think the biggest thing that's going to help out if they do debut Bulletproof is, you know, John Cena's not going to have to take a DDT to concrete and still win the match.
Yeah, it would be Roman Reigns, most likely.
Ah.
Cena's still out of commission, but I would picture you with this big smile on your face, Isaac, if the night after WrestleMania, Reigns is in the middle of a match or whatever, and then Bulletproof debuts, and Reigns just happens
Just
to be
lay
their
him out.
target.
Oh man, you have no idea how happy I'd be. And then, you know, you have that beautiful image of, you know, Finn Balor holding up the title over like a down Roman Reigns.
I mean, the smile would be hard to remove. Not even surgically could we remove it from your face, Isaac, at that point. Yep. I mean, and he already looks like EC3 as it is, so that would...
Yeah, but, you know, this story, I
Let's get
feel
Isaac.
it writes itself. So let's go on to the main event here, and then we're going to go into our next segment.
All right, Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. And talk about the match, guys. I didn't really watch the match.
All right, so, you know, it was standard affair. It ends in DQ, and then all of a sudden, Triple H comes out. You know, he's going to beat him up. Then the Wyatts beat up. It's a repeat of last week, except this time, Dean Ambrose got the one up. And I have to say, that DDT sold by Triple H was just a thing of beauty.
dirty D.
I loved it. I saw the same thing too.
Done dirt cheap.
Yeah, like he just took that DDT and looked like he just died, like
You know,
right there in the middle of the
Bray-
ring. I thought
Bray-
it was a beautiful sell.
Bray Wyatt looks so hungry for that championship.
He does.
He
and
hasn't. I don't think he's ever had a title.
He's never held any
shot.
gold.
Not a
or anything.
one-on-one title shot.
I'm honestly hoping that, you know, he wins this title, and then because obviously WWE's scrambling for a solution. They're scrambling. Okay, we got to fix Mania like, now. We have to get buy
They
tickets
have to.
now because Roman Reigns versus Triple H is not going to sell out.
Plus, how many matches do they have set for the card right now? Three. And,
Four.
And look, check it out. If Ambrose wins that roadblock, let's just say, I mean, randomly Ambrose
Yeah.
wins
Well,
this
maybe a
Saturday.
fatal four-way.
It could turn into a fatal four-way. Brock
we haven't seen
Lesnar,
one since
Ambrose.
WrestleMania 2000.
Or
Yeah.
even better yet, put Ambrose and Lesnar in the main event and have Reigns and Triple H on the undercard.
Yeah, that would be a much
Bada bing,
better
bada boom.
match.
Why do a fatal four-way when... I mean, let's face it. Fatal four-ways at WrestleMania...
Not too good.
Yeah, one-on-one, that's what people remember most.
'Cause here's the
It's
thing.
rare that even a triple threat match.
Because you know, here's the thing. You know, we've had triple threats 2 years in a row. So let me just come up with a card off the top of my head. So we already have, you know, Shane versus Undertaker, the title match. Let's have Kalisto versus Sin Cara for the U.S. title. Either that or
That's true. Kalisto still has no.
or Ryback versus Kalisto for the U.S. title.
I think it's
Have
gonna
it
be Ryback versus
have it
Kalisto,
be
yeah.
like a David and Goliath story.
Probably will be.
I don't know if it's just me, but Ryback has lost so much value these days.
I just don't like Ryback. I just think he's really sloppy in the ring, and I just don't think he
hurts
he's as good.
people.
Yeah,
Stupid.
There's been a lot of injuries actually.
he's
Kane,
just, you know, like
you
CM
forgot
Punk
your
said, you
notes.
know, he's like CM Punk said, you know, he's dumb as
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we cannot
As
repeat on the air.
nails. I'll just say the word nails.
he's dumb as nails. But you know, if I just come up with a card here, let's have, you know, triple threat for the Intercontinental title, or fatal four way for the Intercontinental title in the ladder match with Ziggler, AJ, Owens, and Sami Zayn.
That would be
I
great.
like to see Sin Cara.
Let's have a tag team match between the
Sin
New
Cara
Day
looks like he's in.
and let's just say, you know, coming up from NXT, Jordan and Gable.
Oh, that'd be great.
Or even
That'd be
imagine Enzo and Cass
Yeah.
debuting against the New Day.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
Enzo and Cass will be facing the Revival for the tag team, the NXT tag title
Yeah.
Saturday night at Roadblock.
Yeah,
So that could be their breakout match too.
yeah. So you know, if Enzo and Cass, you know, get called up, I feel like there's no perfect moment besides that.
And you can't
Teach that.
Imagine the mic wars. Imagine like the microphone wars that would happen if that happened.
Oh yeah,
That'd be fun to watch, actually.
And then WrestleMania, it shouldn't have to be like this whole conundrum that you have to worry about what you're gonna book and what the fans are gonna like, because it writes itself. It's just you have
And
to
what's
listen.
sad is it's going to be in the biggest stadium.
I
you
know
can
it
think
doesn't
of,
make any
Exactly.
sense.
and yet the show looks.
It looks sloppy, especially our era, Mike Jay. When a match was set, There was no changing. There was no changing last minute.
Because it's what the fans wanted.
Exactly. And now it's always about money. Money, money, money. And the thing is, when we were kids, this was it.
Yeah.
The match was set. Nothing was changing last minute. It's happening more than one time. Matches getting canceled at a pay-per-view. Like the Divas Tag Team Championship. Changing matches, swapping. That's not how it should work.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was set at a specific time, set at this area, no changing. And it's getting to a point that it's getting out of hand with this. I mean,
It's because the fans are getting something that they don't. I mean, initially they wanted Reigns to be
Yeah.
a breakout star, but the problem was Daniel Bryan was still fresh in the minds of
Exactly.
WWE fans.
He was the hot commodity.
And fans wanted Daniel Bryan to have that victory at the Royal Rumble, go on and win.
You
the
have to
title
remember
at
this.
WrestleMania
When
one more time.
Batista was at the Royal Rumble, people were
They all-
cheering for Reigns to eliminate him.
Yeah.
they all booed.
Could I ask you
Batista.
something about that, guys, really quick? Okay, and this is just off the top of my head. If they did not hype up the return of Batista, do you think the reaction would have been different?
I think it would have been better if Batista just did a surprise entrance.
Exactly,
on the
that's
Rumble.
what I mean, though. Like, if he would have just showed up and it would have been a surprise entrant,
Yeah.
I mean, would it have been different? Would the fans have reacted differently going to WrestleMania?
They may have, because at that point it's like, whoa, Batista's back, and we
Yeah.
didn't expect it. But it was already like, oh, Batista's coming back.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in years.
And that was
but-
about, like, what, 4 or 5 weeks of vignettes promoting
Yeah.
Batista, and then
Yeah.
by the time he actually gets there, the internet and the whole world already knows what they're going to do.
Yeah,
with
and
him.
The
you know-
original match was Batista versus...
Orton.
No, it was also Batista versus Brock Lesnar. Batista actually wanted a match with Brock Lesnar,
would've been great.
and Triple H didn't give him that match, and he wanted it for the World Championship. And so he was promised to get a title shot, but ended up being a triple threat. So that's one of the reasons why he didn't get what he wanted at his end of the bargain, so he went back to acting.
And he doesn't need WWE anymore.
No, he doesn't. He makes more money than ever. Even if it was for a part-time, they wouldn't cut it. I mean, he's already starring in 007 movies already.
Yeah.
The
Marvel
Avengers.
movies.
The Avengers. The Avengers?
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy.
not the Avengers, I'm sorry.
Galaxy.
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, guys. So that wraps up Monday Night Raw. We're gonna cut to a quick break, and then we're gonna come back with a fun little segment. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry, we're gonna have to cut this show a bit short because we ran late, but we'll be back next week full force. But we're gonna just try to do a quick little segment here. Something that I want to try out is wrestling trivia. So right now, Mike and I are the game masters here,
Whoa.
and we're gonna have to see how we work this out. But basically, next week we're actually gonna pit Tony and Jay against each other in a form of wrestling trivia. See how much they actually remember. No studying.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. We're going to get
Yeah,
out a
so-
list of questions and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah, but let's just do like a quick little segment. So welcome out to ARMBAR trivia. Hope we can keep the score count, and winner of this becomes the ARMBAR champion for the week.
Whoa. We'll bring the title and everything.
Oh,
I do have an old World Heavyweight Championship.
And, next week we should have stipulation.
Armbar fans too. We should
you
get that
know,
Armbar fans
yeah,
involved.
totally. But next week we should have stipulation like loser has to come in dressed like this wrestler, or loser has to come in like like has to do this.
As long as I don't wear a dress like Perry Saturn.
All right,
Vito.
guys. Closing shout-outs. Let's go. Tony.
I want to give a shout out to my wife, Liza. Thank you for supporting me, my love. I love you very much. My mom, my dad, my sister, brother, Freddie No Gloves Cobos, and more.
Jay.
Shout out I want to give to my mom, love you mom, as well as also to my brother and my sister, love you guys, as well as my friend Joe S. Pretty cool dude, keep doing what you're doing, as well as other great shout outs to my friends like Rachel, Armand, so many others, Sam, hey, just keep being wrestling fans and stay true.
All right, for me, just shout outs to my HEB peeps, my buddy Carlos Cruz, who's a loyal fan and listens in every week via the TuneIn app. So shout outs to you, Carlos. I know you gave me a couple comments during the show, and we'll go to Isaac from there.
All right, first of all, shout-outs to my beautiful wife, Linda Vasquez. I can't wait to see you, honey. Thanks for always being a supporter. And shout-outs to Armbar Universe for listening to us. Remember, guys, you can like us at facebook.com/UTPA Armbar. Follow us on Twitter at WW_Armbar. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WW_Armbar. We're going to start posting stuff up there.
And also to our friend David Cadena, who recently visited HEB. I just want to give you a shout-out, and thanks for listening to Armbar.
All right, guys, that wraps up Armbar for this week. Next week, hopefully, will be a lot more,
A little better scripted.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
something
just
like
better script, but better formatted. We
Yeah.
can actually bring in wrestling trivia and all our old segments like Dirt Sheet Roundup and Tony's terminology. We all know you'll love it. So that wraps up Armbar for this week. And remember, guys, hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Thanks for listening, y'all.
KCYP LP 97.7 FM, Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen. Mission McAllen.